skeptically in private to North Korea's announcement of plans to freeze nuclear weapons testing, warning that dictator Kim Jong-un could be setting a trap, of course.
So what's the real story? Here to weigh in, counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway. Good morning, Kellyanne.
Good morning. Hey, Kellyanne.
So where are we on this? I mean, I know that in the arc of this story, the president's critics last year were charging that his rhetoric was going to bring us to a nuclear war. The opposite seems to be happening, but are you still skeptical that North Korea is going to deliver?
The president has made very clear that if the conditions are right, we're making the preparations, but also taking the proper precautions, that perhaps a deal can be made. What does that look like? Well, in very short order, you have Kim meeting with the leader of South Korea. You have him halting ballistic missile tests. And you have him more open and willing to talk about nuclear disarmament, if you will, just stopping all of this. And I would note that the previous president received a Nobel Peace Prize less than 8 months on the job, in part, if you go back and read the clips, in part for his work on nuclear disarmament. And this president is actually getting it done in swift fashion. People are reminded, when they watch what's unfolding here, they're reminded of the process that took place under President Ronald Reagan with respect to the Soviet Union. And that President Reagan always said, trust but verify. So, look, we're a long way away from any type of conclusion here. But the president, as he has been open and willing to do since he took office last year, can come to the table with people who are interested in doing things that are good for the world. Even some of the president's most virulent critics are crediting his leadership with bringing Kim to at least this table, this brink so far. It's very clear that Kim also wants to probably some economic revitalization for his country. Things are not going well there. But denuclearizing the Korean Peninsula benefits everyone, number one. And number two, it shows the success of President Trump's maximum pressure campaign on North Korea.
Yeah, well, another maximum pressure campaign the president has been engaged in is about the special counsel and about James Comey. And I ask you kind of a two-part question here. Does the president still believe that the special counsel is illegitimate? And the president has talked about jail time and these memos. Where is he currently on what kind of justice James Comey should face?
The president has answered that question extensively through his tweets. He knows that we were promised a Russian collusion with the campaign early on. That was the point of this entire exercise, and it's gone into many different twists and turns. And the president has also been fully cooperative. Even the Washington Post admitted a few weeks ago the president has been told he's not a target of this investigation. Jim Comey told the president at least 3 times privately that he was not under investigation, even then, but wasn't willing to say it publicly. Everybody should wonder why. But the president is very focused on big things, like getting Director Pompeo confirmed. You go back to the North Korean situation, and you see the president's trust in Director Pompeo by sending him over to start to talk about the preparations, the logistics, and then you see that we need the nation's top diplomat confirmed for a time such as this, when so many important things are going on around the globe. But in terms of the special counsel, I think the president this week, too, took account of who Jim Comey really is, someone who the president said hardly knows the president. They had very limited contact. Jim Comey was on the job for about 111 days. He's been off of the job for nearly a year and is somehow some expert into President Trump's thinking. And he's trying to sell books. Everybody can appreciate that. But he's also a witness in the Mueller investigation and clearly going to be a witness in the McCabe investigation. McCabe, his former number 2, had criminal charges referred this week. So they're going to be battling it out, I believe. McCabe's attorney had pretty tough words for Jim Comey earlier this week. And everybody sees through this stunt to sell books, but people should be very concerned that the FBI director even admitted in a podcast to the New York Times on Friday that he does worry about how he's politicizing the FBI, perhaps. He does know that his ego sometimes gets in his way, and that as the president referred to him, a grandstander and a showboat. And all of that is going on while a special counsel investigation and some congressional investigations are still underway.
All right, well, there are a lot of investigations going on. Someone else in the hot seat, Michael Cohen, the president's personal attorney, Your thoughts on how the president is thinking about this, because people have said if it comes to jail time, Michael Cohen is someone that will flip on the president. He will end up saying things that will get the president in trouble. The president tweeting about this the other day, saying that he's a good family man. He is not a guy who's going to flip on him. Critics will say the fact that the president is speaking publicly about this, is that showing that he is in fact concerned about him actually flipping? What are your thoughts?
The president has expressed concern that someone he likes and respects and worked with for many, many years has been subject to an FBI raid that the president himself called a disgrace and is overwrought. He believes is overwrought at the time. And he's got great compassion for a situation like that. In terms of that particular raid and what's going on in the Southern District in New York, that will have to play itself out. But the president has made very clear that everything that this was originally supposed to focus on, why the special counsel was appointed in the first place, has very little relevance to some of these chutes and ladders that have happened ever since. But the president has shown, and people who say the president's not loyal to anybody, that is just not false. And you see that in his posture towards and his words about Michael Cohen.
Does he have any concerns? I just want to mention, we had Alan Dershowitz on the couch yesterday. He said the Russia probe, he said that shouldn't necessarily be the biggest concern for President Trump. Where he could find real trouble is in this Michael Cohen investigation. Does the president have any concerns about that, or where that might lead to?
I've not discussed that directly with the president that I can speak about. I will tell you that I'm his counselor, not his counsel. And so I know Mr. Dershowitz has offered advice through the TV and has met with the president very recently at the White House. So I'll leave that between him and his legal team, his official legal team, and others with whom he may be consulting.
All right, we'll leave it
Conway,
there. Kellyanne, always good to
Counselor
see you.
President. Thank you.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
being with
Thank
us.
you.
All right, well, coming up, the weather is warming up, hopefully where you are. So it's time to fire up the grill. Of course, we're having a spring barbecue on the plaza.
Looks good. And Anna Koyman and her baby boy Brooks also on the plaza. She shows us how to work out with your baby. I'm nervous about this.
Wow.